So, who are you? Where are
Okay.
you from?
All right. So my name is Mary Riviere. I am a parishioner at St. Thomas Aquinas. I'm also the mother of Father Patrick Riviere.
And what does it mean to be a spiritual mom?
So first, let me tell you, before you entered the seminary, I really never heard of actually the term spiritual mom. So back in the beginning, years ago, Father Mark and Mama Cat invited me to go to be a part of IPF, which is Institute for Priestly Formation, where, for people that don't know, all of our seminarians go there for part of the spiritual formation. But seminarians from all over the country go there, and they have a program that's spiritual moms, and the mothers, and they're not don't have to be biological mothers, but women all over the country are randomly assigned to each seminarian, and the goal is to cover these men in prayer during their formation. And at the end of the program, there's actually an event where you meet. And you get to see the fruits of everything that you've done. Like, you get to meet the person that you've been praying for every day. And it was just an eye-opening for me to see how grace and how prayer work in actually, I guess, fulfilling God's call to have more discernment and helping with priests and men discern whether or not they're being called actually to be priests. So that was my first experience with it, and it touched my heart so much that I wanted to learn more about it and actually bring more of it into even our diocese, to cover all of our men, all our priests and seminarians in prayer. The most I can analogize to it is like being a godparent. But you don't actually even have to know or meet the person. Just know that that's your duty every day. You get up and you pray and you offer prayers for that particular person on a daily basis. So that's kind of...
So what does it mean to be, how is it meant for you over these last couple of years to be a spiritual mother?
Well, it's transformed and it's grown for me because it started with something I didn't know about, and then actually participating and watching see the fruits of it, to see these people that you're praying for, and these seminarians actually one day become hopefully priests one day. And so you just see the fruits of it, so that's beautiful.
How does someone become a spiritual mother?
So we started a little program where you could just email or kind of reach out and be part of the program for call it spiritual prayer warriors. But honestly, you don't even have to do that. You just, say, feel called to, or pick up a seminarian or even a priest, and you just make a conscious decision to include that person in your prayers every day, whether it's a Hail Mary or a rosary or spiritual communion or a mass or whatever it is you can do. Every day you're bringing that person to prayer and to keep them in prayer. So it's really easy to do. You don't have to go and say, well, I'm going to say 10 rosaries every day or whatever. It's one Hail Mary every day for this person is so simple and so easy. And it's tremendous in the blessings by entrusting these men to our Blessed Mother.
What has that done for you?
It actually, I feel like it's allowed me to see the fruits, and it allows me to feel as though I'm participating in the formation of these men, to bind them to our Blessed Mother, to pray for them. They're on the front lines, they're discerning, they're praying, they're going to the sick, they're doing all these things. And I just feel like covering them in prayer is the little things that we can do to help them who are basically on the front lines.
what's Our Lady's role, and what role has she played in all this in your own life, or just in being a spiritual mother?
Well, for me personally, because not only being a spiritual mom, I'm actually a biological mom of a priest. I go to her quite often and ponder with her. She's mother to all of us, and she's mother to the priest, and I unite some of the sorrows and some of the joys and all of those things that go together with the sorrows and the joys that our Blessed Mother had. And so she's been very influential in guiding me. I find that my relationship with her has grown tremendously over the years through this.
What is it like being the mother of a priest?
It's challenging. It's fun. It's rewarding. It's a lot of emotions all rolled up into one. Never know exactly what you're going to get, but it's something that it's hard to put into words, but it brings deep joy, and it's comforting knowing that I have a son who's out there saving souls.
Do you call him Father?
Sometimes. Sometimes, not always. He'll always be Patrick to me, but of course, Father Patrick is also.
Any last words to a woman watching this video who doesn't know where to start?
Certainly could call me, and I'd be happy to talk to anybody who is interested in becoming a spiritual mom. I would say too that if anybody's watching this, that we need spiritual dads too, and it's not limited to women, but it's for anybody who wants to help with the spiritual formation and protection of our religious.
Father Eric had approached me recently and asked me to answer some questions since Mother's Day is quickly approaching. Something that he asked me is, what does it mean to be an expectant mother? The first thing that came to mind was the word calling. Whenever we were trying to decipher what it is that we wanted to do with our lives after high school and what we would like to prepare for in college, what it is that spoke to me in the depths of my heart and my mind were to become a teacher. And that calling has led me forth to this day. Every decision that I've made has been to better that calling and to hopefully prove to God that I am fulfilling everything that He had desired for me to become. So when my husband and I had originally gotten married and we were open to the gift of life, you always get humbled with realizing that everything is going to happen on God's time and in God's terms. So we genuinely did feel the gift that this baby was to us. Whenever we knew that His presence existed, there was this rush of not only just immense joy and relief, but that immediate realization that we are now mother and father, and we are to bring forth this gift of life into the world. And it is now our responsibility, therefore calling, to raise this young man into the church. And from then on, I realized that we focused on a calling in high school, and that calling that has been the fulfillment of my life has led me towards future callings. I've been called to the married life, and now being called to motherhood means that it opens up a whole new world or a whole new realm of possibilities to me, and just a whole new avenue of excitement for us to explore. With the recent pandemic, I was also asked how my sense of being an expectant mother was being strengthened. And although that was a difficult question for me to answer, I came up with two areas of my life. In the areas of patience and understanding, I've noticed a growth. This pandemic has been anything but routine. It pushes our life from the normal into anything but normal. And although it is a worrisome time, the patience that I've experienced is beyond the patience that I've asked God for on a daily basis. The patience that I need in my day-to-day life were over situations, or they were over, yes, myself, but the patience that I'm having to ask God for now is the patience to breathe in, realize that He is with us, and that there are times where you can't change your environment. When you are being asked to follow guidelines to help those around you and to help your own health, that is an entirely new patience that you're taking on. And motherhood needs and requires an all new type of patience. You are going to have to ask God for patience on a daily basis, just like I've continued to do. But I feel as though motherhood is going to need another level of patience. Patience with not only the outside world, like we're needing to ask patience for now, but I'm going to need to ask for patience more over myself. We as mothers are needing time to be patient with the person that we're growing into. It's going to take us time to realize who God is calling us to be. And I'm asking for God to give me that patience on a regular basis, but to give me the patience over myself. It's going to take me time to be able to follow in the footsteps that I know that He'd like me to follow. Another area that I've realized growth in is understanding. I know that motherhood requires a lot of understanding. I have been witness to several strong, very, very amazing mothers. And those women are such wise individuals, but I'm realizing that there is an understanding that this pandemic has enlightened me to. And sometimes it's the understanding that, yes, getting information and getting wisdom from those who know more than you and from seeking wisdom from God are excellent avenues. But there are times where the understanding comes from within yourself, in which there may be times that you don't understand. You don't know what the right answer is. You're going to have to learn who to turn to. And this pandemic has shown that to me. It's given me a sense of understanding that sometimes I will not be able to find the answers. And in motherhood, I think we can attest that that is the case a lot of times. We do need to seek out the proper answers, but we also need to understand that we're not always going to know the right way. We're going to have to seek from God what is the correct answer. I've also been asked, how has this pandemic challenged my sense of being an expectant mother? And the simple answer that I can come up with is the sheer worry. A lot of us right now are very scared and very worried about the environment that we're in. We're having people who are becoming brand new mothers at this scary time. There are people who are delivering their brand new newborns into environments where we have to quarantine and we're not able to share our little one or our brand new loved one with our family. And those are scary times. That worry that I'm experiencing during this pandemic time is showing me that motherhood is filled with worries. If I'm going to begin being pregnant in a pandemic, my whole child's life, I'm going to be filled with worry over the next thing. It's going to be worried over, is he eating enough? Is he sleeping well enough? Is he growing into the Christ-like child that God wants him to be? Am I doing my duty as a mother? Are we doing our best that we can do? So if anything, this challenge, this pandemic has shown me is that worry is a part of everyday life. But turning to God and helping and having Him help us to understand those worries and to realize that He's with us every step of the way is what I'm seeking right now. And that is the answer that God has been giving me. Growing up, I can remember every Good Friday, my family had a tradition of sitting down together and we would watch The Passion of the Christ. We would either try to begin the movie or end it all around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And something that stands out in my mind vividly to this day is watching my parents watch this movie for one of the first times when it started to become a tradition. That is a very emotional movie to watch. And during the film, I looked over at my mother, and there were scenes in that Passion in which Mary's life is, you get to glimpse into what she experienced more than what you can imagine whenever you are hearing the readings in Mass. When you're reading the Bible yourself and you're reading the words, we got to see the image of what Mary endured in watching her own son suffer for all of us. And I will never forget my own mother's reaction watching those films. It hit me so hard to be able to watch her, to witness the mother of the world, the mother of Christ himself, what she went through. He went through the passion. She endured a lot of suffering. And how Mary has influenced my role as an expectant mother is, at the very least, a role model. She is absolutely someone that when I found out that I had life within me, I looked up to immediately. I have several places to look to find amazing role models of mothers. I work with several of them, my own mother-in-law, all of them, my own sister, so many respectable role models in my life. And something that I will never forget is how my own mother pointed me in the direction of the ultimate mother role model. I knew that she is always and will always be an impactful person in my life, my mother. But the fact that she pointed me in the direction, watching those passion movies together every year, she was always leading me to the ultimate role model of motherhood, and that was Mary. Although it was the passion that we were watching, I was getting to experience a sense of, this is what a mother is like. The suffering that your children go through is your own suffering. Your child falls down, you fall down. Your child is hurt, you are hurt. Your child experiences overwhelming joy and happiness, and so do you. So these are all things that I was taught by my own mother to look forward to. When I became a mother, she was showing me how to use what I, as a person of this world, have experienced and gathered to try to raise my son to try to raise him in the church to be an outstanding young man. But she was ultimately pointing me in the direction of the ultimate role model, and that was the Blessed Virgin Mary. In speaking to different mothers, I've always known that graces are bestowed upon you. And I've been asked what have been my biggest graces that I've experienced so far. What have I received from God? And I can tell you that these experiences that I've been given that have helped me to realize just a little bit further into what this life within inside of us truly means have been the most impactful. Those moments of grace that I've gotten have really included beautiful times in which, for instance, one of the fondest memories that I have is sitting with my husband for the first time. On the grainy screen that pops up is a beautiful little blob of a fetus that at just a few weeks old is there, moving, lively, and waving at you, in our case, from the camera. That moment was an absolute tremendous moment of grace for the first time getting to see the life that was inside of us. And since then, it's been weeks and weeks, but every day in his journey to grow and to be ready to be born into this world, his movements, the little nudges, the pokes, the prods that happen at the beginning of the day, because he seems to be a morning person like me, and the end of the day, anytime that there's a snack involved, those moments, those movements that I'm experiencing are all tiny insights into the moments of grace that God has granted me.
Okay. Oh, what does it mean to be a mother of a priest?
I think that the mother of a priest, it means the same as the mother of a band director, a young lady going into the military as a social worker, a secretary, a medical assistant. Those things are all things they achieve and that God called them to do. As the mother of a priest, God called Brett to be a priest. And so for me, it's happiness, it's joy, because God called him and he's doing what he is meant to be or meant to do. However, just like any child, there's anxieties as a mother because of his big task, being being a priest is a task that the world outside of the church looks down on, and there's things all over trying to tear him down. And so as a mother of a priest, I bear his anxiety and my anxiety for him. I want him to be loved and accepted.
Next question. How has this pandemic strengthened your sense of being a mother of a priest?
I think that for me personally, I feel like the pandemic, I have more access to him. I can turn the computer on, Facebook, and see Brett daily, which I am part of a parish that is not where he is. And so I don't get to see him every Sunday preaching and speaking God's word and shepherding his people. But in the pandemic, I can turn the computer on and I see him almost every day. And I can listen to his words every day. So I think it has brought me to a better appreciation of his priesthood and how he is accepting his priesthood and shepherding his people.
Okay. Can you explain to us how it has been challenging for you to be the mother of a priest?
The mother of a priest, I think God has given us the grace to handle more of the stresses, because Brett's task is difficult. It's not like, being a teacher. His task is to bring people to Christ, and there are large barriers to that. And I think for me, watching it crumble at some points or seeing him struggle to reach his people is heartening.
Okay. So let's talk about the Blessed Virgin Mary, our mother. Was she influential to you in any kind of way as your role as a mother of a priest?
I believe that this can't be done without her. You cannot be the mother of a priest or any mother without Mary's guidance. The mother of Jesus went through lots of suffering. She saw her child suffer. On the other hand, she knew his greatness and what he was going to do for our people and the people. And so I think that as the mother of a priest, we can mirror those same feelings that Mary had. Wow, this is great, and there's so many blessings, and he's going to help bring people to his Father, to God. But the crosses that she bared, and I feel that those crosses are similar to being the mother of a priest, because you see the struggles.
So you see the struggles, you experience the crosses, but I'm sure that there's some graces involved also.
Absolutely, because what you see right here in front of you, in front of me, is, a beautiful white altar cloth. This white altar cloth, my son said Mass on this altar cloth. This is a sheet that we had at our home, and he said Mass on it for the first time in our home. What beauty is that, to have your son come and bless your boat when you need a blessing on your boat, or your house, or this new prayer space we have, or call him when you need him, or he knows when I need him and he calls and shows up. So I think that those graces, my grandmother, one of my grandparents, my last grandparent, passed away in January, and to have Brett speak and do the Mass for her funeral and speak the homily and speak about her hope in rising with Christ was unbelievable. That's a grace moment.
Beautiful, beautiful. So many graces are yet to come also.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So this is going to be the fun part. How do you address Brett as a priest now?
Well,
do you call him Father Brett?
We do call him Father Brett. On a serious note, we call him Father Brett when we're addressing other people. If I am speaking about Brett, I address him as Father Brett. If I am at his parish or he's at our parish and people are talking, I will address him as Father Brett. At home, it's quite funny because we have a running joke. He's called Father Son because he's still the son, but he is a priest, so he's Father Son Brett. Bretta, we call him Bretta because we always have. But he's father brother to his brother. He's father brother to his sisters. He's father son to us. But when it's just him and I call him Brett.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just a fun little thing, and I'm sure most priest moms do the same thing. You address him as Father Brett when you're speaking about him, but at home it's Brett.
Mm-hmm.
It's always Brett. So.
Well, that about wraps it up. But one more question. Is there any other words? There's seminarians discerning priesthood. There's other mothers of priests out there. Is there any other words you'd like to share with them or share with these future mother of priests as they walk along their sons as they discern priesthood?
I think you go back to Mary's Magnificat. Thy will be done.
Thy will be done.
Yes, Lord. Because, it's his plan, not our plan. And we can't stand in that way. And so it's their decision to follow God's calling.
Beautiful. Okay, thank you.